all right today?
Sure, I guess. Why?
Firstly, because your last file was no longer than any of the previous assignments you were given. It seems to have taken you 2 full weeks to handle it while working more hours per day to finish. Second, because you're drinking a significantly larger cup of coffee than I've ever seen you bring in. Third, because it's 12:17 p.m.
So it is.
That's it?
Dinah, I'm not caffeinated enough for 20 questions. What is it?
Alice, it's important to catch problems early in your line of work. If you're having trouble sleeping, particularly if you're experiencing night terrors, then you need to schedule an appointment with the Institute's mental health professionals. If you aren't fully recovered from the incident, then you should take another leave of absence until you're completely better. And if...
Dinah, I'm fine. That last file was just a lot, and I had to keep going back and take additional notes on what I was seeing. Several parts were missing or seemed to be missing, and I had to reach out to the archive about it to make sure everything was properly documented. But I got it done, went home, and slept. I'm tired, and I'm stressed, but I'm here, and I'm ready to get back to work.
Should I set an alarm to ensure that you don't overstay today?
That probably won't be necessary, unless the archive sends up another one of those big files. That sounds heavy. Ah, shit.
What is it, Alice?
According to this, the archive is sending over an extensive file. This is the first set of contents, but there's a second that they'll send over once I return the tube. There's no way of knowing how many of the individual reports are connected, so they want me to have it all at once before proceeding.
That is unusual.
How unusual are we talking?
In all the years I've been with the Institute and all the witness catalogers I've assisted, this is only the third time seeing something like this.
That's comforting. What the hell is this? It looks like parchment. And the writing on it is in Latin. Sort of. Official communication from Adeptus Administratus, Official Liturgus Archaeus. The following documents are meant for the eyes of Inquisitor Liana Hargrave Ordo Xenos?
I didn't know you could read Latin, Alice.
I've got a lot of skills I didn't think I'd ever use before I took this job. Well, that was fast. The archive must have had something triggered to send this when the second tube was loaded. Alright, here we go. Further instructions regarding two-part file from the archive. The witness cataloger is not to begin the necessary recording for these files until both halves have been delivered and all objects, relics, and reports are in a single location. When not recording, these documents are to be kept in the workstation, safe and monitored. If the cataloger feels any side effects from exposure to these materials, they are to contact their on-site superior immediately. Great. No pressure. Just another day at the office.
Alice, are you sure this is a good idea?
It seems a little late for that. And here's part 2. And this one has a note attached to it. Guess they didn't want to send it through the email for some reason.
I think that's my cue. Let me know when you're done, Alice.
Just what the hell is going on here? Archival summary of current file. The following files, grouped together for ease of access, were assembled from the remnants and fragments that returned through the rabbit hole from the dimensional anomaly, whose coordinates are listed in the archive reference. Most agents who were sent through to this dimension did not return. The singular agent who did come back changed. Though officially cleared for return to duty, this was his final authorized jaunt. Agent Redacted was brought in to order the other remnants, hoping his experience would allow him to make sense of it. He claims the files were put in order, and many of his additions and observations have been included as footnotes in this file. The witness cataloger is advised to read them sparingly. Final note. In the void between the stars, there is naught but the laughter of thirsting gods, and the mockery of an uncaring universe. The promises of progress are naught but lies, empty promises ground beneath the boots of numberless armies. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Far future? Guess I'll see what that's all about.
The galaxy is in turmoil. There is no light among the millions of inhabited worlds other than the gleam of fanaticism and the pyres where heretics are burned. The promises of progress and plenty have been lost, buried beneath battlefields that stretch to the horizon. The stars echo with the laughter of thirsting gods, and the only surety is that worse things lurk in the darkness than a quick, clean death. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war and horror. These are some of the tales one might find waiting out in the deep black. 1. The Blood Angels were dropped into the battlefield as reinforcements right in front of our line. It was strange, though. Their armor was black instead of red. 2. The traitorous elements had taken command of much of the city. The Loyalists rejoiced when they saw the guards surround the hive with their artillery, until the breeze caught their banners and they recognized the emblem of the Death Corps. 3. Would you care to repeat that, Godsman? The Commissar asked, unsnapping the flap of his holster. I don't believe I heard you properly. 4. In the thick of the fighting, I heard one of my battle brothers come up alongside me, bolt pistol blasting as he roared,
For the Emperor!
When I felt the knife sink into my back, he whispered,
Hydra Dominatus.
5.
It's just one bloody Eldar.
The sergeant snarled at the rest of the warband. When they heard the eerie, echoing, unnatural laughter, they knew this one Eldar was too much, even for all of them. 6. The Emperor protects I whispered as I closed my eyes. The thing I'd glimpsed in the darkness drew closer, unhampered by my prayer. 7. We had declared ourselves independent from the Imperium. When the ancient ships came out of the warp, twisted legionnaires of chaos at their helms, we had no one to call on for aid. 8. The servitor addressed me by name. As I heard its hydraulic fist clench, I realized it had never heard my name. Not since before it had been modified, at least. 9. I thought the worst thing the Biologos could say after my examination was that I was going to die. It turns out the worst thing the tech priest could say was,
Interesting.
10. The thing that loomed out of the shadows was long and sinuous, its chitinous hide covered in dripping slime, and its maw open to expose rows of razor teeth. I wept as it tore at my clothing, because it was so beautiful I couldn't look away. 11.
Your son is strong.
The salamander said, gazing into the infant's eyes. As he handed me back my child, he added,
Perhaps he will be stronger than his 2 brothers were.
12. The Eldar gathered round the dead Monkey in silent dread. They knew Space Marines traveled in packs, and they would tear this world apart until they found vengeance for their brother. 13. It wasn't that much different from eating corpse starch when you thought about it. Not really. 14. After weeks of grueling, bloody battle, we thought we'd finally pushed the orcs to the breaking point. We realized too late that noise they made wasn't caused by fear, pain, or desperation. It was joy. 15. The Tau had arrived with a full contingent of battle suits, firecast warriors, and advanced weaponry. None of them had feared a single Catachan with a knife. At first. 16. The night called Star's halo had stood for thousands of years against all foes who had threatened the world. When we found the dead, burned-out husk of the great machine, we knew we were going to die. 17. The meteor shower was beautiful. We didn't realize what it was hiding until the drop pods started impacting. 18. The guy had it coming for running his mouth. When we found the inquisitorial rosette tucked up his sleeve, though, we realized we were in deep shit. 19. We heard the flies before we saw the corpses. When the corpses saw us, we had nowhere left to run. 20. Pleasure worlds had something to suit every taste. Some tastes, though, were more extreme than others. 21. The dig had revealed an ancient, sprawling tomb complex that looked fit for a king. What we didn't realize was the silent ones lining the walls beneath the earth were merely sleeping. 22. Sitting in the darkness of the black ship surrounded by the soulless was like being blind, deaf, and in hell. In the blessed silence, though, I could no longer feel the eyes of the dark ones staring into me. 23. We had him surrounded, and Astartes or not, all he had was a sword. Then the librarian's eyes began to glow, the light reflecting in the forced blade held in the psyker's fist. 24.
Do you know who wrote that book you love so much?
The word-bearer whispered to the canoness in a sly, knowing voice.
Will your faith endure the truth, I wonder?
25. The Arbites had been trying to contain the swell of mutants pouring out of the Underhive. Nobody asked what was driving them up out of the darkness, though. Not until it was much too late. 26. Careful with that weapon, trooper. the commander snarled. "It's worth more than you are." 27.
Your genetic code simply will not accept the procedure,
the Astartes said, resting his huge hand on my bruised and bloodied shoulder.
It is a shame, as you would likely have been among the best of us.
28. The Ratskins warned away anyone who tried to delve too deeply into that part of the Underhive. Most never came back, and the ones who did that could still talk screamed about green lights and ancient gods until someone put them out of their misery. 29. For just a moment, we all felt the light of the Emperor in that place with us. Then the mouth of the throne opened, and we knew no more. 30. The guardsman's primer was inaccurate, self-important, poorly written, and next to worthless. Following it was likely to get you killed. Not following it would get you executed. 31. Most guardsmen didn't survive their first deployment. The only reward for those of us who did was a pat on the back and another roll of the weighted dice. 32. We'd killed their defenders, surrounded their world, toppled their churches, and made it clear that surrender in the name of the greater good was their only real option. What madness keeps them fighting? 33. Cadia stands. Tanith remembers. 34.
Most Astartes are warriors,
the Night Lord said with a chuckle full of blood.
But we are killers.
35. They say you never hear the shot that kills you. The ones that leave you crippled, though, are loud and clear. 36. The Administratum Secretary found a dire call for reinforcements, citing the dangers of an imminent collapse of the battle lines. She was about to send it up the chain until she saw how long the document had waited to finally reach her desk. 37. There! We're safe now, the traitorous governor said, slamming the vault door. Well,
One of us is.
his secretary replied, her face melting as the polymorphine wore off. 38. The plasma cannon had been giving the enemy merry hell. When I pulled the trigger again and heard the high-pitched whine, though, I knew I was going to be its final kill. 39. I had received nothing but scorn, hate, and disgust my whole life. Even demons couldn't bear to touch me, if for different reasons than most people. 40. Everyone contributes, I said to Arlen, dumping their gagged, struggling form into the waste recycling vat. In their own way. 41. I'm innocent, I moaned through my broken teeth. That proves nothing, the Inquisitor said, picking up another of his gleaming steel tools. 42. It was definitely a drop pod, but it was so small there was no way more than one person would fit in it. I opened the box to report, but all I heard from the other end was gunfire and screaming. 43. The impact from the weapon would kill most any human. When the roar erupted from the dust cloud, though, the enemy realized they'd upset the Ogren. 44. You've got two choices when the psyker starts twitching. You either shoot fast and maybe fill one grave too soon, or you hesitate and bury an entire world that should have lived. 45. Most of the Hive retreated when the Chaos Cult came out into the open. The gangers, though, were locked, loaded, and ready to make them bleed for their turf. 46. The Emperor was powerful, but he was far away on Terra. Other gods may not have been so strong, but they came to you when you needed something. 47. corn doesn't care from where the blood flows, but I do. Or, at least I did, once. 48. A bayonet isn't much concern to a chaos sorcerer, unless it's lodged in their windpipe, of course. 49. You were very determined not to be taken alive, the homunculus said, carefully repairing the hole I'd put in the side of my head. I look forward to seeing how long it takes to break that spirit. 50. The galaxy was awash in blood. The scent of all that death was drawing something from beyond, though. Something hungry for more. "52-Sentence Horror Stories, Warhammer 40,000 edition, was written by Neil Litherland, and it appears in his Vocal.media archive, linked in the video description below. These stories are fan works and are not officially connected to Games Workshop in any way. This video uses tracks from Tabletop Audio, also listed in the video description below. Other sound effects, images, and video clips were downloaded from Pixabay and Pexels. Alice and Dinah were voiced by Alice Liddell. The stories were read by Neil Litherland. Script, audio, and video editing by Neil Litherland. To ensure you don't miss future stories that appear on the channel, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Lastly, if you have a particular reality you would like to see the Institute's agents report on, even if they don't survive, make sure you leave it in the comments below.